The Fox 61 News at 6 starts now.
We have breaking news off the top here. A downtown Hartford bar is now a part of the investigation into a teenager's death over the weekend. The State Department of Consumer Protection says they've now been in contact with staff at the Lady, the bar that 17-year-old Camden Siegel was near when he was shot and killed Sunday. We don't know the extent of the bar's involvement in the investigation yet. The department also confirmed the bar is part of another open investigation of an event that happened on New Year's Day. All right, 3 days of shoveling, slippery conditions, and snow days are now behind us, but the impact remains. We'll show you how and talk about what's in store for the rest of the work week. But first, our top story. The family of the Hartford man shot and killed by police during a mental wellness check last week is demanding justice. It comes a day after the State Office of the Inspector General released body cam videos and a preliminary report as to what led up to those shots being fired. Thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 6. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. Fox 61's Aaron Coogan is at Hartford City Hall. Motions ran high when loved ones pled for accountability.
Well, heartbroken family members say 53-year-old Everard Walker was a dedicated father of 6, defending his home when a swarm of police officers barged into their tiny Hartford apartment. They say amidst the grief, 20-second clips released of the confrontation paints an entirely different picture of an encounter that lasted more than an hour. Chaotic moments captured on police-worn body cameras show a line of Hartford officers filing into the cramped quarters of 53-year-old Everard Walker. The confrontation led to blood-curdling screams, followed by the sound of 4 gunshots.
The 211 calls repeatedly said there was no threat. So when I watched that video, I saw a repeated failure over the course of an entire hour.
Attorneys of the family say a deliberate 211 mental health call was made on behalf of Walker, who had long-standing mental health issues. But when the pair of professionals dispatched from the Capital Region Mental Health Center requested Hartford police accompany them in the response, they say things escalated in a situation that should have never presented itself in the first place.
Everard's family made the difficult and responsible decision to call for medical assistance. They called 211. They did not call 911 because they did not trust police to handle this situation. The state of Connecticut spent $5 million on the Heart Mental Health Crisis Response Team in Hartford and other improvements to 211 to prevent this exact thing from happening.
According to a preliminary report of the incident, after nearly an hour of back and forth between police, Walker, and 2 of Walker's children behind a closed door, officers forced their way in. Retreating a first time after fearing he was going to throw a pot of boiling water at them, the report goes on to say officers re-entered the home as Walker's own son had to physically restrain him from repeated attempts to close the door. The confrontation with police resulted in Walker wielding a knife, and after 1 or more orders to drop the knife to no avail, Walker appeared poised to stab an officer who had fallen backwards. That's when the deadly shots were fired.
It was one of those circumstances in which it really wasn't able to be handled without some level of police presence. Obviously, we will wait to see what the State Inspector General says.
Now nearly a week since the shooting, a picture of the 53-year-old stood beside distraught family members outside council chambers. Walker's wife, Linda Gray, offered a few words before being overcome by emotion.
They took my world from me. There's no me without him. 29 years came February the 21st. We would have been together. Steve, could you finish this, please?
Attorneys are now demanding justice for the Walker family as they claim radio silence from Hartford Police, the Inspector General's office, and the Mayor's office. Meanwhile, Hartford Police say the 2 officers immediately involved with last week's shooting have already been placed on administrative leave. The investigation remains ongoing. In Hartford, Aaron Coogan, Fox 61.
More snow this morning on top of already towering snow piles out there, but overall it was nice to see the sun.
It was nice. It had to fight its way through, at least where I was. Every time I looked out the window, it was sunny, and then it was cloudy, and then it was sunny, but
this afternoon,
sunshine eventually won through, and for a couple of sun worshipers like us, that's important. Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank standing by patiently waiting for me to stop talking.
No, I liked your recap of the day. It was good. And yeah, I mean, for somebody who is lazy like myself, didn't want to really get out there and clear up this
snow. It was nice to have a little bit of sun, a little bit of help from Mother Nature. Almost all of it melted away, but obviously there will be some lingering slippery spots through the evening tonight with the melting and a possible refreeze for anything that's untreated. Here's a look at some snowfall totals, and we'll kind of dive into them more in just a bit. But most of the state saw about 1 inch to 2 inches of snow, with some higher amounts in Fairfield County, up close to 3 inches in Danbury. But it wasn't about the amount of snow. It was about the fact that temperatures were in the teens and 20s, and this moved in right before the morning commute, just making things really slippery and even awful in some towns. Right now we are quiet, no weather issues. That system's moved out, but there could be an isolated snow or rain shower as we head through the evening tonight, especially as we head towards the news at 10 and 11. I don't expect major issues from this, but again, already possible for black ice tonight, and this may just reinforce it. Otherwise, tomorrow looks like a beautiful day, a calmer stretch ahead. We'll talk about when we could hit 50 coming up.
All right, Rach, thank you. Well, crews across the state have been busy trying to move all that snow out of the way. Some places are running out of space to put it all, though. Fox 61's Jalen Anderson shows us one option the state is now allowing for the first time in more than a decade.
Snow is being removed from cities and towns across the state. Some officials say dumping into waterways could also be an option.
We cleared 70 million pounds of snow, but you know, it is a tremendous amount of snow, and we've got to find places to put it.
Where does all that snow go? That's the problem city and town leaders across the state are trying to solve. And on Monday, the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection told leaders they can temporarily dispose of snow in waterways if there is no available upland sites with space. It's an option that hasn't been available since February of 2013. Cities like Hartford and Waterbury both have been removing snow and are aware of the additional option. But leaders in both cities, including Hartford Mayor Arunan Arulapalam, say it is likely the last option they will consider.
Obviously, we have been using these lots to store our snow, and it's something that we'll probably discuss. You know, we like to think we're at the end of winter, but we're still, as you saw this morning, we're still seeing more snow. So we're going to continue to look at these plans. Obviously, our lots have been very full, I know.
According to DEEP, floods are not anticipated to be an issue if towns or city use the waterways for disposal. I spoke with Brian Baez Arroyo and Olivia Watson, who both live in Hartford, on how they feel about this option and if they think the city has done a good job of removing snow.
I myself, I am impacted by it as well, because, you know, I travel to work. So, you know, by the time, like, I'm out to going to work, like, there's still snow on the sidewalk. You know, like, I literally almost slipped this morning, so not the greatest, but I feel like they could definitely, you know, there's definitely some room for improvement.
The apartment that I stay in is on one of the main roads, and where they pack snow is incredibly stressful. So it's extremely hard and extremely dangerous. People have gotten into fender benders, right exactly where I'm talking about. I think there could be better ways to specifically go about that in different spots. I think as a community, they're doing the best that they can for what I'm seeing.
We're now dumping snow into waterways. This is being used as a last resort, but who knows how much snow the state will receive by the end of winter. In Hartford, Jalen Anderson, Fox 61.
Well, we're hearing from more communities just trying to get back on track after the storm. New London neighbors tell us they've been concerned about unplowed roads that limit access to them leaving their homes. Fox 61's Jamal Johnson's in New London, listening to what neighbors say has been a very slow process.
More than 20 inches of snow fell in New London during the blizzard, and a little more on Wednesday morning. This has given plow drivers a handful of work to do, but as snow accumulation grew, so did neighbors' concerns about their roads. People in New London have finally gotten a break from the early week winter conditions. But even though the snow is done falling, residual effects still linger, like concerns about what drivers are calling poorly or untouched roads. Megan Haynes has been dealing with the aftermath for days.
It was really tough living on this hill. Lots of people couldn't get up it. We had a FedEx driver that got stuck over here, so it was crazy. But I actually didn't see a plow come through until like maybe 30 minutes ago.
According to Haynes, the first plows hadn't come to her road for more than a day. She was able to work from home, but her neighbors weren't afforded the same luck.
I know for my older neighbors, with the plows not coming through, or they were only plowing one side of the road, it extended the driveway by 10, 15 feet. And so it was very difficult for them when they had to leave, and they would have to call in someone to do their driveway.
It wasn't just Haynes' Street that dealt with severe road conditions from the storm. We were sent several images of unplowed roads on other streets in the city. These images are from someone who lives on Georgetown Road, showing a street no one could drive through due to the snow. The sender said her neighbors spent hours digging their cars out to go to work. We also were sent this picture on Orchard Street, showing unplowed roads after the storm. Some neighbors have reached out to the Department of Public Works to try and bring the situation to their attention, leading to some roads being cleared, but concerns still remain.
I honestly think it was just a lot of snow, and it happened so fast. Last time, I know right away they were out here, and I don't remember if the snow fell as fast as it did this time, the last snowstorm, but I'm just glad that there is some plows coming through today.
Yeah. The city of New London said that removing the 2 feet of snow has been a very challenging process. Right now, they're doing lifting and removal on all of the streets, and they say that that process could take between 3 to 5 days to clean the streets properly. In New London, Jamel Johnson, Fox 61.
Jamel, thank you. Governor Ned Lamont is sending help to our neighboring states after this week's blizzard. Connecticut's Transportation Department is deploying 125 workers and 80 pieces of snow removal equipment to Rhode Island and Massachusetts. Crews will leave early tomorrow morning and are expected to work around the clock through at least Sunday. State leaders say it's part of a long-standing mutual aid agreement and a way to keep the entire region moving after the blizzard.
Meriden mayor is now calling its IT challenges a cybersecurity incident. City workers haven't been able to use internet services for more than a week now. City Council and other meetings will be held in person. They're not giving us any other details at this time, though.